Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Monday. It is October 31st, 2022. That's right. It's Halloween. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Brian, and all the rest of you, whether you're watching now or later. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate you. Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Stacy. Good morning to me, because I'm watching me. Trying to get those Twitch numbers up. Good morning, Dennis. Dennis says, happy Monday, peeps. I'm dressed as the sexiest man alive, and later I'll put on my Halloween costume. Woo! Not my best woo. Not my worst. How was your weekend? I had a very good, interesting weekend. Did almost nothing. 2 days in a row with no alarm set. I was in bed by 9, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, and it was amazing. More or less, I didn't even do that much on Friday. I did a bunch of stuff around the house. I finally finished getting the dishwasher installed. Very thankful for that. Dropped off the old dishwasher. This pile of tools in my kitchen is now whittling down. Did a bunch of work in the yard and in the house and vehicles and just did chores. But I didn't do them like, oh my God, I got to get all this stuff done. I just went, all right, I'm going to get some stuff done. And was leisurely about it. It was really nice. Stacy says, I'm going to need so many cups. Frank says, things were so busy at the store. I came home yesterday exhausted. Well, one of the things, I'm going to keep talking. One of the things I'm interested to know from all of you that have kids or yourselves, if you are dressing up, if you are in costume or your kids are in costume today, I want to know about that. I love Halloween. Here's the thing. There are a lot of things living out in the woods by yourself is great for. Halloween is not one of them. As a single guy, right? Like Halloween as an adult becomes one of those holidays. It's either you celebrate with your kids or you celebrate with your partner. I am partner and kidless, so I hang out by myself. I don't watch scary movies, so that takes all those movies out, and I really don't eat candy. So I'm kind of stuck enjoying Halloween through all of you. Now, I want to point out before somebody mentions, there's a tea bag here. I'm not sick. I'm testing a theory. This is something I started to think about on Friday. I've been pretty open with all of you about my anxiety. But here's what I'm wondering. Because I've gone at this in a bunch of different ways. How much of my anxiety, it's not all of it, but how much of my anxiety is related to my nervous system being fried. Caffeine is going to have an impact there. So I am going to pull back on caffeine for a little while. I don't know. Ideally, none. We will see when I have caffeine again. I don't know. But I'm experimenting. I'm trying to figure this out. So that's what's going on. That's why I'm drinking tea. Gabe says, we accepted an offer on our house on Saturday. I'm super pumped for you guys for that. Jenny says, Matt's knee surgery went great and his recovery is going well. He even ran black belt testing from the table on Saturday, 24 hours after the procedure, which is either showcases his strength or his stubbornness or both. Jenny says they're dressing up tonight. I'm going to share pics. Oh, that's great. Zed says, I was Van Gogh on Friday. I'm a middle school art teacher. 10-year-old son is going as Deadpool tonight. I still need to figure out my costume. So for Van Gogh, does that like you're running around with a bloody ear? Is that right? Wasn't that Van Gogh? I'm pretty sure that was Van Gogh. Brian says, we did a trunk and treat yesterday for Cassidy. We did the party in Taekwondo class. She is dressing up for school, I think. Devlin tested positive Saturday morning, so our annual party in Waterbury at a friend's place wasn't able to happen. Oh, bummer to hear that. Jenny says, caffeine messed with my adrenal glands and triggered many of my anxiety attacks. It's a great theory and definitely worth testing. Well, thank you. We will see what happens there. I'm also off dairy temporarily because I've been getting some congestion. And it hasn't gone away. And it's really annoying. And it seems like it's likely an allergy thing. And so we're trying no dairy, as, you know, I just bought like $20 worth of cheese at the store. We'll see what happens. Zed says I was right. Van Gogh with the ear. Good morning, Shabashi. Stacy says, and I'm bringing one of my, quote, working tools to a lunch to talk about being pagan in the modern world. Actually just caught an article, Google News threw an article at me saying that pagan faiths are on an upswing in the modern world. And I didn't read the article, but my suspicion is that it's probably a number of factors, but the one that I think is positive that I'd rather think about is I think there's a growing population that recognizes our relationship to the natural world is at a distance, and finding that relationship is of value. I'm watching myself watch myself. It's interesting. Yeah. I don't know. Was there more to say? I went and had sushi last night. What else did I do? I had 2 days where I just told myself I don't have to do anything. And I really needed that. It was nice to wake up when I felt like waking up. I think, let's see, Saturday morning I woke up at 8, which for me is a miracle. Sunday morning I woke up at a little after 7. No coffee, no cheese. I've been plowing through the Pirates of the Caribbean movies for the who knows how many time. Such good movies. And I've been bouncing back and forth between those and the New Mighty Ducks, which is okay. If Lauren Graham wasn't starring in it, I probably wouldn't be doing it. But love Lauren Graham. So, anything else? I'm looking around my house as if there's an agenda or a list of things that I did here. I don't think so. No. Processed a bunch of seed. There was a bunch of seed stuff hanging. Sunflower seed, bok choy seed, quinoa seed. What was the other one? Beans. Yeah. It was a very low-key weekend, and it was exactly what I needed, and I'm very thankful for it. Jenny says, oh, I forgot to mention, I'm making Twix bars today, right after breakfast. Are you doing the lefts after lunch? I'm proud of myself on that one. That was a pretty good one, right? Was that a good joke? I feel like that was a good joke. We do have a new episode of Martial Arts Radio today, so let me check in on that. Oh, look at that. I can still watch while I do other things. So those of you who have wondered, can I do Twitch and other platforms on my phone at the same time? You can. You should. Please do. All right. Whose episode is today? All right. Today's episode is with Sensei Les Bubka, a name that if you follow traditional karate, you might know a little bit about. This is a gentleman living in the UK now, moved from... Did he move from Poland? Oh, I don't want to get this wrong. I don't want to be an ignorant American. We don't have it down here. Okay. He moved from somewhere in Eastern Europe to the UK, and he has a passion for martial arts as a tool to improve mental health, to mitigate mental health challenges. His school is primarily, he primarily works with people in mental health facilities. It's a cool conversation. And it's yet another example of the versatility of martial arts and how much I love that. So I hope you check it out. I hope you enjoy it. I've said it before. I will say it again. I will continue to say it. If you are a full-time martial arts instructor and your classes are, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this time, Tuesday, Thursday at this time, and they are targeted for everyone, you are missing out. You are missing out on a tremendous amount of impact and, let's call a spade, money. Whether we're talking about classes for homeschool students or we're talking about classes for, let's say, adult programs where there is need for assistance, autism spectrum. There are so many ways that you can take what you do, make small adjustments to it, and by offering it to a group that is of like, we'll just say of like, you can be incredibly beneficial. And I'm glad that we got to have Les on the show because it showcases yet another example of that. So there you go. Good morning, Nathan. Oh, Jenny liked my joke. Ha. 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 Just thinking what else. There was the thought. There was a half-formed thought. I wanted to find it. So last Thursday we talked about, we put out an episode where we had 3 different non-martial arts school and movement professionals. And we talked about a variety of things where, martial artists might learn from what we talked about. There are some conversations Andrew and I are having about how do we bring together maybe martial arts instructors, maybe somebody like Les, around mental health or autism spectrum or something, folks that have some insight to give you some information for the thing that I just encouraged you to do. If anybody has thoughts on that, if there are people that we have not talked to that maybe should be incorporated in that, don't be afraid to reach out. Stacey says, for people with neurodivergence. Are you suggesting that as a better collective term? Because the terms change, and I freely admit that I do not always have the terms in the most current accepted. I don't always use the most currently accepted terms. How about that? Okay. But I think everybody knows it's not from a lack of empathy. Just doing my best over here. Frank says, you've come such a long way on this show, Jeremy. I remember when you used to sit there in your bathroom and pick at your eyebrows. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay. So Stacey's suggesting neurodivergence is a better collective term. And it is a better collective term, but from what I understand, the reason I'm using autism spectrum is, from what I understand from talking to a few people who teach classes that are that are rooted in teaching to folks that have a condition that is within that realm, they are, I don't want to say necessarily confining it, but that is who they are teaching to. Just as teaching to, adult black belts and child white belts in the same class can be difficult, I would imagine that if we are bringing folks together that are of like in some way. But again, this is me speaking not from speaking from a position of understanding, but an attempt to. So there we go. Tea. All right. Now, Frank did give us something to talk about, and I'm curious to see what you all do with this one. This is interesting. You can tell whether a man is clever by his answers. You can tell whether a man is wise by his questions. Naguib Mahfouz? That's my guess. The difference between being clever and being wise, right? Like, clever doesn't have to be intelligent. Or clever is intelligent. Clever doesn't necessarily contain wisdom. You can ask really intelligent questions that are you being a jerk. You can ask questions from a place of understanding. You can ask questions without wanting to know the answer. My joke to Jenny earlier, that was clever. There's no wisdom in that, right? Just keeping up with the chat here. I think both are valuable. I think we often forget there's a difference between intelligence and wisdom. A 5-year-old can be absolutely brilliant. A 5-year-old can be more intelligent than a 60-year-old. But the 60-year-old is generally going to have more wisdom because of time on earth. Intelligence is the ability to process information. Think of it like a computer. Wisdom is the storage, the hard drive. You can be really intelligent and not know anything because of what you spend your time processing information on. That wasn't a good sentence, but you know what I mean. The average intelligent person is going to be wiser than someone who is less intelligent over time. It doesn't always work out that way, but it generally does. I think one of our mistakes as a society is forgetting that these are two separate things. And it's funny because we use these terms correctly, the wise old man. We don't say the intelligent old man. Not that the wise old man can't be intelligent, but you know what I'm saying? And I think if we did a better job of recognizing that they are two different things, the intelligent, it is, first off, there are different kinds of intelligence. I'm very aware of that. Intelligence is not something that you're generally going to change, but wisdom is absolutely something you can change. Whether it's from reading books or being around people who have information you do not, you can become a much wiser person. That is another way to do it. Intelligence is generally figuring it out for yourself, processing that information available to you. Whereas an open-minded wise person, or an open-minded person can just have wisdom kind of delivered to them. Okay. So there you go. Oh, let me flip back. Next. What am I doing? This is what I'm doing. What's happening to this? I don't know what's happening. The video locked up on this. That's funny. What's going on? I don't know. Anyway, you guys still here? Am I still here? I'm still here. The great Chinese classics have always said that it's better not to fight, that the clever man achieves his ends without violence, that a battle delayed is better than a battle fought. John Keegan. John Keegan. Why is that name so familiar? Has he been on the show? Checking. Nope. Does not appear so. There's a name that's very similar to that I'm thinking of. I don't know what it is. Everyone says I'm still here. That's good. Yay. You never know. A battle delayed is better than a battle fought, because you might always have you might find an opportunity. We live in this really funny time where we are rewarding people for creating reasons to fight. Now, granted, it's professional fighting, it's boxing, it's MMA, and that's different. And I get that that's different. And I think it's proof that we want to see a reason for a fight. We don't want people to just fight. It's better when there's an emotional investment. Oh, I like this person. I don't like this person. Right? Like that. That's natural. And I'm not going to take anything away from the people who are making a ton of money doing this. But I don't like it. I wish it didn't have to be this way. It is, but I wish it didn't have to. Shibashi says, these comments are like a page out of Horton Hears a Who. It's better not to fight, that the clever man achieves his goal without violence, that a battle delayed is better than a battle fought. I could see Dr. Seuss saying that. So to say it another way, if you can delay violence, always delay violence. That is what this comment would suggest. And I would say that it is almost always a good policy. The difference being, or exception. The exception being, if the delay of violence puts you at greater risk. If you have a somewhat reasonable chance now, and you have a worse chance later, take the chance now. Of course, that's not going to be common because we don't have to unpack that. We've got one more. Let's do this one more and then we'll call it a day. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. Ruby. Let me read that one more time for you. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. All we can really do is change ourselves. We can have influence on the world. We can make an impact on the world. But all we can truly do is change ourselves. And if we do that and we model that behavior, let me find a way to say this. Think of the causes the social causes that exist. Is there anything that does more damage to a cause than a supposed leader being exposed as not modeling the behavior of that cause? I'm not even going to name specifics, and I ask that you not either. What's that line? Be the change you want to see in the world. There's so many examples of this sentiment, and it's important. If you want your kids to be something, be that. If you want your students to be something, be that. You cannot expect to lead from the middle or the back of the pack. You have to be out in front. You have to do the hard work. You have to blaze the trail, whatever analogy you want to use. But it's true. We need that. We as a species need that. If you're not willing to do that, then is the goal that valuable? The idea of making a bunch of other people change their actions in a way that you are unwilling to do, that's not leadership. That is something else. Good morning, Josh. And so I'm going to go. If you want to support us, there's stuff at whistlekick.com you can pick up for as little as $5. We haven't sold a swag pack in ages for some reason. I don't know. If you want a random collection of stickers and other things, as well as a gift certificate for a future purchase of at least $5 up to $100, you can spend $5 on a swag pack at whistlekick.com. You can pick up anything using code FirstCup15 to save 15%. We've also got the Patreon. For $2 a month, you get to learn a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff about martial arts radio and other things that go on at Whistlekick. And it goes up from there. So if you like what we do and you're willing to throw a couple bucks a month at a couple of bucks a month our way. There we go. I don't know why that was hard to say. Please consider doing so. And if you want the entire list, for those of you who are family, please consider checking out the family page and looking at the entire list of things you can do to help us in our mission to connect, educate, and entertain, most of which are free. First Cup, we do the show live weekdays, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. If you're not watching on Twitch, please watch on Twitch. A great day, and this is too good to not share as we're ending. Stephen says, I'm content, though internally annoyed, to have a leader who does not model the teachings. The teachings necessarily arrive with us through the imperfect vessel of humanity. The trick is to remember this continually as we study. Wonderful sentiment to end on. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care. Check out today's episode of Martial Arts Radio, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.